Hey guys, this is Mike from SITREPRADIO, a podcast that is focused around The Division, and I'm here to welcome you to this tactical looter shooter set in a Tom Clancy world. Whether you are completely new to the game or are coming back from a long break, over the course of this video series I'm hoping to guide you through the ins and outs of The Division, with the overall aim being to help you get your character to level 30, provide advice for the endgame content that lies beyond this, and sharing some tips, tricks and hints that we at SITREPRADIO have learned along the way. In this video, we will be focusing on the Dark Zone. We have mentioned quickly the Dark Zone in episodes 3 and 4 of Agent Origins, but during this dedicated video, we will be taking an in-depth look at what the Dark Zone has to offer. Before we go any further, it is important to understand that even though this isn't strictly an endgame activity, to us the Dark Zone really is at its best during the endgame levels, around 256 plus gear score. However, due to the fact that you have access to the Dark Zone as soon as your base of operations has been established during the 1 to 30 leveling of the game, we think it's important to dedicate a video to it now rather than later on. In all honesty, it is a good idea to go into the Dark Zone early in the life of your agent to get a feel for it before endgame due to the completely different experience between the 1 to 30 leveling and endgame Dark Zone instances. Additionally, entering the Dark Zone during the 1 to 30 leveling and when progressing through the world tiers can be a great way of looting up. So what is the Dark Zone? Put simply, the Dark Zone is a large, lawless area of the map devoid of any civilians, where the JTF and the First Wave Division agents alike have lost all control and retreated, meaning that literally anything goes and survival is anything but guaranteed. In terms of the Division's game design, the Dark Zone is unique in that PvE and PvP is interchangeable possibly at all times, and will very often overlap, meaning the tension whilst roaming around these dangerous streets is unlike anything else this great game has to offer. This also means that each time you enter the Dark Zone, you will have a different experience. This is what makes the Dark Zone so interesting to us. The very first time you enter the Dark Zone, there won't be an awful lot of in-game information available to you. After all, Failout even admits herself, not a lot is known about the Dark Zone since the JTF and First Wave Division agents retreated from the area. Not only does this keep things somewhat secret and devoid of spoilers, but it also adds to the suspense, tension and drama that makes the Dark Zone truly special. Visible on your map are DZ01, DZ02 and DZ03 western checkpoints, and a Discover the Dark Zone side mission in the middle of DZ01. This is nothing more than an introductionary mission and will pop before you get anywhere near the actual locator. Much of your first trips into the Dark Zone will be exploratory in a similar manner. Just have a good long look around and explore as much of the map as you can and are comfortable with in order to unlock more and more of the Dark Zone's map detailing. However, another thing about the Dark Zone you will notice early on is that the scaling of the NPCs here does not match that of the open world. Even the lowest tier of Dark Zone NPCs start at level 10. To put this into more context, there are 9 separate zones within the Dark Zone, and NPC scaling increases all the way up to level 30 regardless of the level of your agent, so tread carefully and perhaps explore a new area of the Dark Zone each time your agent level or gear score increases significantly. Whilst you navigate the streets of the Dark Zone, you would undoubtedly need a safe area or two to either take refuge from the carnage, check on the loot you have acquired, or simply restock on ammo, grenades and medkits. Whilst there are numerous grenade bags and medkits dotted around the side alleys of Manhattan's deadliest streets, however, the safest, most reliable, efficient place to get restocked is from any one of the 20 Dark Zone checkpoints or 7 Dark Zone safe houses. Each safe house has a restock box and a Dark Zone vendor, and that is it, nothing more than just a quick pit stop area. You cannot leave the Dark Zone from a safe house, nor can you fast travel between safe houses or to a checkpoint from a safe house. Checkpoints are a bit more substantial and useful. Not only do they contain a restock box and Dark Zone vendor, just like those found in the safe houses, but checkpoints also contain a stash box for you to access everything you have already stored in the stash boxes you have previously utilized in Camp Hudson, the base of operations, the terminal or Camp Clinton. Additionally, there will be a laptop terminal that displays the current Dark Zone activity leaderboards. However, a quick heads up, the checkpoint in DZ07 and the 2 western checkpoints of DZ09 contain nothing more than a restock box. Unlike Dark Zone safe houses, from a checkpoint you can fast travel to any other Dark Zone checkpoint, or anywhere else on your map outside of the Dark Zone for that matter. However, be careful when fast traveling from Dark Zone checkpoints, as any loot you currently have in your hazmat extraction bag will be destroyed and lost forever. And as with all content in the game, it is also possible to matchmake from any of the Dark Zone checkpoints. There are absolutely hundreds and hundreds of items of loot to be obtained whilst in the Dark Zone. Most of the loot drops you've picked up will be placed in a yellow hazmat extraction bag because they're from contaminated sources. This small bag will be visible on the back of your agent and can hold up to 9 items at a time. This bag will have to be extracted using helicopter pickups that you signal for using a flare gun while stood in any one of the 10 extraction areas spread across the Dark Zone. Once extracted, the items from your hazmat bag will be placed in the extracted tab of your stash box, which can be accessed inside any Dark Zone checkpoint. This tab is limited to 30 items at a time, so make sure to clear out this portion of your stash box fairly regularly. If the helicopter arrives and you don't have enough space for the loot you're currently carrying, you'll have to repeat the process all over again. Once items appear in your extraction tab, they can then be interacted with in the same way that any other loot in the game can be. However, some loot rewards are placed directly into your inventory, meaning this loot does not need to be extracted and cannot be stolen by rogue agents. We'll identify the sources for you throughout this video. There are various types and sizes of loot boxes dotted around the nooks and crannies of the Dark Zone. The general rule here is the smaller the box, the lower quality of loot you will open up. The smaller square boxes will drop blue sealed caches, rectangular boxes will drop a purple sealed cache, deeper larger looking boxes specifically located in contaminated areas will drop a gold sealed cache. The last type of loot box is a locked loot chest, which can only be opened using a Dark Zone key, which are rare drops from any type of NPC or can be collected as a drop from killing a rogue agent. Unlike the other loot boxes, these locked chests will drop 2 items, ranging from gear set pieces or green gear set caches to high-end weapons, armor pieces or mods. There is also a rare chance of a 3rd item dropping from these locked loot boxes, which will always drop as a classified gear set item. Classified gear set items are the most powerful armor pieces in the game, hence why they are a rare bonus drop. We know we haven't talked much about the classified gear at all during the Agent Origins series yet, but we will cover them in detail during episode 6, Endgame Begins, coming real soon. Division Tech is a resource you can pick up from a variety of places throughout the world of the Division, but it is in the Dark Zone where it is freely farmable and found at its highest concentration, provided you are the first to actually find it. DivTech is a highly sought after resource during the current state of the game because it enables endgame builds to be optimized up to their absolute maximum potential, so expect stiff competition from other players who are eager to get their hands on it. DivTech does not need to be extracted and will instantly get added to the number of Division Tech you currently hold once picked up. This balance can be found on the Pouches tab of your in-game inventory menu. There are no set missions in the Dark Zone, but there are a number of activities that spawn at various intervals to keep tension high and try to force interaction between players. The most regular of these are landmarks. There are 25 landmarks in total spread across the entirety of the Dark Zone, and these are visible at all times on your map marked with purple locators. Once a landmark has been cleared, this locator will turn grey until it respawns. Landmark respawn timers are 10 minutes, though this information is not visible anywhere in the game, so keep a close eye on your map if you're farming. Now it's important to know that to clear a landmark completely so that it does actually respawn, you must kill all of the NPCs that guard each landmark, not just the named boss. Not only is this important to keep the Dark Zone an efficient area for looting, but by clearing a landmark completely, you get an additional item of loot placed immediately into your inventory, rather than needing to be extracted. Any loot dropped by the boss or his NPC supporting cast will have to be extracted, as we have said earlier. Up in the northern areas of the Dark Zone, 7 through 9, there are a small number of landmarks that actually have spawn waves, meaning 2 or 3 named bosses will show up one after the other, each dropping their usual loot levels. To leave you with some surprises though, we're not going to tell you which landmarks are which, you'll have to hit the DZ and find out yourselves. Once an hour, the Dark Zone server you are in will alert you to the supply drops that are incoming. There will be 8 of these drops located across the Dark Zone at the same time. And because the precious cargo inside the supply drop box is yet to be contaminated by the disease-riddled air of the Dark Zone, these rewards will not need to be extracted, and instead will be sent directly to your inventory once claimed. However, it's not quite as easy and simple as we've made that sound. Not only is each supply drop guarded by a mob of NPCs and a named boss, but all other players in the Dark Zone server will get the same alert that you got, and can see where all the supply drops are on the map just as you can, so keep your eyes peeled and your wits about you at all times. On a separate 1 hour timer in any Dark Zone server are Contaminated Events. These always take place in the underbelly of the Dark Zone and is where a series of elite cleaner NPCs need eliminating. Much like the supply drops, when a contamination event is beginning, a series of Isaac transmission warnings will be played in the game. The underground portions of the Dark Zone are constantly at contamination level 4, which the filter in your agent's mask can happily deal with. However, during a contaminated event, this level rises all the way up to level 9, which would mean almost instantaneous death. For this reason, when a contamination event first begins, you are given a 30-second warning so that anyone currently underground has time to escape. Once this initial 30 seconds is up, a new warning will sound stating that contaminated levels are now critical and a 2-minute timer will start. During this time, the underground will be at level 9 contamination, giving other agents in the server plenty of time to travel to their nearest underground area to set up ready to kill the incoming NPCs and claim their rewards. Once the 2-minute timer is finished, a final warning will sound stating that the contamination levels are now lowering, and the contamination level will drop down to level 5, one above its normal level. This means it's relatively safe to proceed underground, but be wary, you will constantly be losing health until all 6 NPCs have been killed, including the 2 named bosses. You have 10 minutes to eliminate the NPCs in your chosen area or areas. Because your health will be steadily depleting when tackling a contaminated event, it might be a wise tactic, especially when solo, to kill a couple of NPCs and then escape back up to the street out of the contamination effect to allow yourself to heal and recover before tackling even more NPCs. Another solid tactic would be to run an immunizer heal box, an overheal, and a recovery link super. Combined with medkits, you should now have plenty of healing power to nullify the effects of the increased contamination, as well as incoming damage from the cleaners. Once you have eliminated all the NPCs attached to your chosen area, you will be rewarded with 3 pieces of loot directly into your inventory. In addition to this, the 2 named bosses will drop loot for you as well, but this will need to be extracted in the usual Dark Zone manner. There are 2 separate leaderboards that track certain mini activities from within the Dark Zone. One resets on a weekly timer, the other at the end of each calendar month. The activities tracked are different on each leaderboard and vary from reset to reset. Each leaderboard is refreshed once a day at midnight GMT, so tracking your progress is not very accurate. However, the results can be worthwhile due to the various loot and caches rewarded on completion of both daily and weekly activities on the leaderboards, making it well worth your time in pursuing these. Most of what we have talked about so far has been PvE related, but it is worth remembering that any of these can include PvP interactions due to the nature of how the Dark Zone works in the game. You will quite often find yourself in the Dark Zone and a PvP instance will find you in one shape or form. This is because of the unique way the Dark Zone works, is that PvP is just a button toggle away. That's right, there is no PvE only Dark Zone, so once you enter the Dark Zone, you are fair game regardless of your intentions, so keep your eyes peeled and make sure your situational awareness is on point. So how does Dark Zone PvP work? Firstly, because friendly fire is currently defaulted as off between SHD agent players in the Dark Zone, in order to be able to shoot one of the other 23 players in your Dark Zone server in the face, one or both of you has to become a rogue agent. In order to toggle rogue status, you press and hold the Shift Z keys on PC or up on your console controller's D-pad. Once rogue, you and each member of your Dark Zone squad are instantly given a 60-second timer. Whenever you or any other player has this red timer over their heads, they can be damaged by bullets from other players. Once this timer expires, you return to your former SHD existence, but be careful, as every time a bullet from another agent hits your timer, it is frozen for a brief period of time. Every time you or another member of your squad kills an SHD agent player, your timer will incrementally increase and you will gain an additional rogue ranking. Once you have killed your 5th player, you will be marked as Manhunt instead of Rogue. Manhunt ranks increase up to rank 5. Any other SHD players you kill beyond this point are purely for bragging rights. Once you have obtained Manhunt status, you no longer have a timer over your head, meaning you cannot simply wait out your timer in order to survive and return to SHD status. To clear your Manhunt status, you must now locate and run to your Manhunt station. These will be visible on your map from the moment you obtain Manhunt status, and the higher your Manhunt rank, the longer you will have to interact with your station in order to clear your status. Once cleared, you return to SHD status once again and are rewarded with a Manhunt bounty cash per Manhunt rank, directly into your inventory. However, your rogue actions may come at a price. When a player goes rogue, it is displayed on the map for all other players to see. Not only that, but if a player hits manhunt status, the game will notify other agents in your vicinity of this and may be sent to hunt you down as you try to clear your manhunt status via the manhunt stations. Much like rogues being marked on the map, the manhunt stations are also displayed for all players in the server to see, so don't expect to easily clear your manhunt status. Now there is another way of not only toggling yourself as a rogue agent, but also increasing your rogue or manhunt rank. This is by cutting the extraction rope. Once another agent has placed a hazmat extraction bag onto the helicopter rope, it is possible to hijack their loot by cutting the rope, holding Z on PC, triangle on PS4 or Y on Xbox whilst your agent is stood in close proximity to the rope will begin the hijacking process. This will either instantly mark you as a rogue agent or increase your current rank by 1. If completed, all of the loot that was inside the hazmat bags on the rope will be spilled all over the floor of the extraction area. This loot is then free for being picked up by any agents in the immediate vicinity. A quick warning though, cutting the rope is quite a long animation, which will render your agent unable to shoot or defend himself, so if cutting the rope is something you're wanting to do, choose your window of opportunity carefully, or at the very least make sure the rest of your squad knows your intentions so they can defend you. The whole SHD versus rogue agent debate is one that has rumbled on since the game was first released. Within that debate sits the whole issue of the risk versus reward, which the developers of the Division have always insisted is the moral undertone of the Dark Zone and something that adds to the unique experience and environment of this lawless area of the game. In its current guise, going rogue has never been more of a conscious decision nor a more punishing one. That said, it has never been so rewarding to survive your manhunt status either. This balance not only helps to create tension within the Dark Zone server by keeping players constantly on their toes wondering who is creeping around the shadows of the street ready to attack me, but also means for any player or team of players who disavow the Division and go rogue, it is now better than ever for players to engage you in PvP for a chance at the rewards on offer for bringing you to justice. We won't go into the exact breakdown of what you are rewarded with or what you lose per rank of rogue status. We'll let you experiment in order to figure out exactly what for yourselves. However, to give you a little incentive to try going rogue or doing a bit of rogue hunting yourself, at either end of the scale is a small loss or gain of Dark Zone loot, Dark Zone funds, or XP at the lower ranges of rogue ranking, increasing all the way up to the loss of your Dark Zone loot and Dark Zone XP to boot, as well as the gaining or loss of multiple manhunt or bounty caches. These special caches do have the chance to reward exotic or classified rewards at a rare drop rate. Our final note is that although the Dark Zone is undeniably a great source of all kinds of loot and resources, it is worth remembering that there are many other areas of the game for you to find everything that is on offer in the Dark Zone. Do not feel pressured into running the Dark Zone, but we do strongly recommend, even implore you to at least try it a few times, as it truly is a great and unique place to spend time, especially in a 4-man squad. As Team SITREP, myself, Luke and Rob have squadded up with various 4th agents since the game has been released. Agents like Edelon Fox, Spickbeats, Spider-Man 2099, Wob and Herd Immunity and many more. And it's during this time, whilst running around the infected streets of the Dark Zone, we have had some of the most fun times this game has produced. There are a lot of mechanics in play and a vast number of differing builds being utilised in the Dark Zone, so do not expect to be the best PvPer in the Dark Zone straight away. Just like learning how all of the perks on your builds work, it will take time to learn the ropes and all the tips and tricks of the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone may be a choice for some, but to others, it's a way of life. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. Thank you, agents, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete.